Welcome back to Refuge. This week is the third week of Shovavim, Parshas Bay, and we're going to continue our Shovavim series with the topic, Finding Refuge with Hashem. The Be'ez Hashem will connect it back to this week's Parsha as well. So, I saw in the book Around the Year with Ramelech Biderman from Sruli Besser, it brings out a very interesting idea. He says from Ramelech Biderman that the 6 weeks of Shovavim correspond to the 6 Ari Miklat. Each week corresponds to an Ir Miklat, to a city of refuge, that somebody who killed somebody accidentally would run to one of those cities. But he didn't explain how it compares, what the comparison is, what one has to do with the other, Ir Miklat, Shovavim. I found a very interesting piece in the Siva Shalom and Parshas Maseh, which I think, based on that, we'll be able to explain what Ari Miklat have to do with Shovavim. So in the Siva Shalom and Parshas Maseh, he writes like this. He says that the 6 Ari Miklat correspond to the 6 words in Shema Yisrael Hashem Lekeinu Hashem Echad. 6 Ari Miklat, 6 words in Shema. How do they correspond one to the other? So the Siva Shalom brings down from the Beis Avram and from the Oiv Yisrael. He writes like this. He says that if somebody has emunah in Shema Yisrael Hashem Lekeinu Hashem Echad, if somebody's maimin, if somebody believes in Hashem, that emunah acts as an Ir Miklat to protect the person from the Yetzer Hara that's running after him. The emunah in Hashem Echad acts as an Ir Miklat. That's the connection between Shema Yisrael Hashem Lekeinu Hashem Echad and the 6 Ari Miklat. The Nesiv Shalom brings down many times, and we've spoken about this before. He says there's 2 parts to Emunah Hashem. There's Emunah in Anechi Hashem Lekecha, that I am Hashem your God. That's the first part of Emunah. But then there's the second part of Emunah in Asher Yitzesi Eschem Eretz Mitzrayim. Not just that I am Hashem your God, but that I am Hashem your God that took you out of Mitzrayim. That when you were in a low state in the land of Mitzrayim, I took you out of Mitzrayim. And the Siva Shalom says that just like a person has to believe in the Hashem Lekeinu Hashem Echad, we also have to believe that Hashem takes us out of our low state of Mitzrayim. I think this can help us understand the connection between the 6 weeks of Shovavim and the 6 Ari Miklat. We have to remember, what Shovavim all about? Shuvu Banim Shovavim, return wayward children. But when did HaKadosh Baruch Hu call us Banim? When were we called a ben, a child, to Hashem? That was when HaKadosh Baruch Hu told Moshe Rabbeinu to go to Paray, to introduce the first of the Makkos. He says, B'ni b'chayri Yisrael, my son, my firstborn, Klal Yisrael. It's all the Psalm bring down. That when did HaKadosh Baruch Hu say, call Klal Yisrael, B'ni b'chayri Yisrael? It was not when we got out of our low state of Mitzrayim and we were out of Mitzrayim. It's not by Matan Torah when we said Nasa v'nishma. That's not when HaKadosh Baruch Hu said B'ni b'chayri Yisrael. You know when HaKadosh Baruch Hu called us B'ni b'chayri Yisrael? It was when we were at our lowest point before the Makkos had even started. HaKadosh Baruch Hu called us B'ni b'chayri Yisrael. In fact, the Nesiv Shalom brings down in his Kuntres and Shovavim, and these are his exact words. D'mi she'enei mamin ke'ani Hashem, ha'sheichin itam b'teich tumasam. Someone who doesn't believe that I am Hashem, who dwells among you, amongst your impurities, amongst your tumah, gam hu min va'apikaris. He's an apikaris. Somebody that doesn't believe that Hashem is with us, b'seich tumasam, b'seich the impurity, in the midst of all the impurity at our lowest levels. If somebody doesn't believe that, he is an apikaris, he's a heretic. And I think now maybe we can understand the connection, right, between the Ari Miklat, the 6 Ari Miklat, the 6 words Shema Yisrael Hashem Lekeinu Hashem Echad, and the 6 weeks of Shovavim. If we believe in Hashem Lekeinu Hashem Echad, but not just in Hashem Lekeinu Hashem Echad, but as Nesiv Shalom says, the second part of Emunah as well. But if we believe that HaKadosh Baruch Hu will redeem us in our state of impurity, that when HaKadosh Baruch Hu says Shuvu Banim Shovavim, when did HaKadosh Baruch Hu call us Banim? That was when we were at our lowest levels. That emunah itself will protect us from the Yetzer Hara. That we, no matter what level we're holding on. We could seek refuge in believing in Hashem, that He desires us. And as the Nesiv Shalom says, and we've spoken about this previously as well, that it says that B'schus Emunah, the Yidden were nigel from Mitzrayim, and B'schus Emunah, we're going to have our own Geula also. That it was B'schus the Emunah, B'schus the fact that the Yidden believed, that despite the fact that they were such a low level, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to take them out of Mitzrayim, if we can believe that despite the fact that we're at such a low level, that Hashem can redeem us, that acts as an Ir Miklat, that acts as a city of refuge, that itself is our protection. Believing that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is with us at this point, that we could still come back and turn to Hashem. And I think this theme could be found in this week's parasha also. The parasha starts off, HaKadosh Baruch Hu tells Moshe Rabbeinu, Boi el Parai, come to Parai. And everybody asks, why do you say Boi el Parai? It should say Lech el Parai, go to Parai. What's come to Parai? And as far as Makdashim, almost all of them bring down that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is telling Moshe Rabbeinu, Boi el Parai, come. Come with me to Parai. You're not going alone, I'm not sending you. Come with me to Parai. And all this farm bring down. Parai, Mitzrayim, it's not just about the Parai Mitzrayim that the Yidden were in Galus, but we all have a Parai and Mitzrayim in our own lives as well. Mitzrayim comes from the lashon of Meitzar, the root word Meitzar, constriction. We all have in our own lives our own constrictions, our own Parai that we're subservient to, our own Parai Mitzrayim that we feel we are Meshubed to. Our own Yetzirah, our own low points, our own darkness, our own Galus Mitzrayim in our own lives that we want to get out of. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu is saying, you're not alone. You don't have to do this alone. Boi el Parai, come with me, come to me, come seek refuge by me. But why now? Most of the Makkos already happened in last week's Parsha. Why now? Why now when the Makkos are almost over, is now when HaKadosh Baruch Hu is telling Moshe Rabbeinu, Boi el Parai, come to Parai? Why didn't he say it already? By the earlier Makkos. The Ibn Ezra writes, Boi elav zeis apam, ve'al tishtoim bavor shechazak li be'arata. Even though you went so many times to Parai, and it seems like nothing registered, like nothing happened, now is when HaKadosh Baruch Hu is saying, Boi el Parai, come to Parai. And I think that this is really the message that we have to take out. Especially when we feel, this isn't our first rodeo. We've been through the months of Shovavim so many times. And look, every year we're doing it again. Every year we're doing it again. Why should this year be any different? We're already a few weeks in. Maybe we feel nothing happened the first couple of weeks. Why is this week going to be any different? Boi el Parai, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is saying no, that even though until now there were so many times that it seems like nothing happened to make a difference, Boi el Parai, come with me to Parai. Come seek refuge by me. Don't do this alone. You don't have to go through this alone. What we have to do is we have to be maimin in HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We have to believe in HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Not just that there is a HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's not enough. But we have to believe that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is saying, come to me. Come to me. That I am with you, b'seich tumasam, I am with you in your tumah. And if we could have that emunah in HaKadosh Baruch Hu, as the Nesiv Shalom says, that itself acts as an Ir Miklat, as a city of refuge, to help protect us from the Yetzirah that is chasing after us, that is being roidif after us, that we're struggling with day in and day out.